The impossible has been done. It's officially happened. A good Fantastic Four film. Can you believe it? This video, I don't have to have a meltdown like I did for the last Fantastic Four video. It's a miracle, guys. So, let's get into my spoiler-free review of Fantastic Four First Steps. Okay, so again, I said no spoilers. The obvious, though, is not considered a spoiler. Telling you that this film takes place in another universe as part of the multiverse is not a spoiler. Let's just be clear about that because we can all see that with our very own eyes. So what Marvel does out the gate here is, strangely enough, exactly what Superman did, which is refreshing but also kind of funny because how is it that within the same month we get the same idea behind a superhero reboot? And what I mean by that is, when Fantastic Four First Step starts, we are off to the races. The Fantastic Four have been active for years. Their origin, it's happened off screen. A bunch of their villains, what they've been doing around the city, how people know them, that's already established. They just exist in this world that keeps moving. That's happening. And it's kind of refreshing to get into that because, again, we could have, with Superman and with this film, been bogged down with what we already know. It was a very smart choice by director Matt Shakman to completely ditch that idea and say, you know what, let's just hit the ground running. Let's show you the Fantastic Four who are established. So what this means is a character like Reed Richards, he's already past some of his flaws. Johnny Storm, he knows exactly who he is, and his character development is exactly where it needs to be. Ben Grimm, yeah, he's not the sad, sulking Ben Grimm who's like, oh, I'm a rock monster, nobody likes me. No, Ben Grimm is Ben Grimm. He knows what it's like. People appreciate him. He's loved. Sue Storm, she's a competent character. Not only that, Sue Storm is literally the MVP of this film. She is the star. She is the leader. She is the character with all the focus on her. Which brings me to the film's plot and the characters. So the first thing I want to say is that this is not the film you think it is. And I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but it is not the film you think it is. There are shots in the trailer. There are elements that we learned about the story, even officially from Marvel, that are not in this film. They clearly made some interesting cuts to this to change elements of the film, and I think it's for the better. But therein lies some of the problems. Due to these cuts, there does seem to be a lack of urgency, and that's how I want to put it, for another aspect of the film and upcoming sequels that the Fantastic Four are in. Again, I'm trying to keep spoilers very, very low. I'm going to obviously talk about spoilers in another video. But what we have here is the characters at their core being true to their characters. Everybody is handled well. Is Johnny Storm a little reckless and a hothead? Yes. Is Ben Grimm the heart and soul of the team, more or less? Yes. Is Reed Richards fixated on his own views and believing he can fix everything because he's Reed? Yes. Is Sue Storm the most important character in this film that saves the day multiple times? Even during one scene where you're like, hold up. Really? She does that while doing that? Yes. You'll know the exact scene I'm talking about when you see the scene. It is actually insane how much Sue Storm we get in this and how she is the dominant force and the lead of this entire film. And that's not a bad thing. You guys know, I was not big on Vanessa Kirby when I heard the casting. I walk away from this film praising Vanessa Kirby as the highlight of the entire thing. She steals the show and every single scene she is in. She is tremendous, and I would not be surprised if and when the feedback for this film for her is through the roof, if they don't pivot a large part of the Marvel Universe to just revolve around Sue Storm being a lead. She is that good. And that's all to say that when the plot is going, it's rapid fire and you have little time to breathe. Again, just like Superman, there is a lot happening, but it is structured well. And one of the most surprising elements of the film to me, and this might be a slight spoiler, but I don't think it is, this is not a heavy action film. As a matter of fact, there is very little action. It's more of a character study, and you don't really get to the over the top comic book action till the third act. And that's when we, of course, got the villains. So, as this film is, of course, part of the multiverse plays into this. And in this world, we see how things are different. We, of course, then can show you a giant threat. The giant threat that is Galactus and, of course, Silver Surfer. She shows up. She does what she does. You know exactly what I'm talking about if you've ever seen a singular Silver Surfer thing. She heralds the coming of Galactus, and, well, he's going to show up. He touches down, and we're off to the big action sequence in this film. It is shot well. Matt Shakman knows exactly what he's doing. He's able to pull off the Fantastic Four in such a way that you start to realize that this guy loves this team. And one thing that stood out to me, and I want you to pay attention to this, during the film, you will notice that things just seem slightly off. Like they messed up a couple of things. And when you think about it, you're going to realize that they didn't. It's actually the characters, and specifically Reed, using his powers in a way that's just so subtle that you don't realize it. Somehow, his legs at some point will just grow a couple of inches when he needs them to, or his arm will be just a little bit longer to be able to pull something off or grab something. His torso might elongate just a couple of inches, and your brain might think that it's wrong and doesn't pick up on it until you really pay attention, but it's there. And how Shakman handles this throughout the film is genius. It's exactly what Reed would be doing to make things just a little bit easier. It's the little attention to detail like this that really stuck out to me. That Matt knew what he was doing, which again brings me back to the villains and what they're doing. So you got Galactus and Silver Surfer, and without spoilers, they serve their purpose. They are here for a reason, along with other villains that we will see, which again, if you've been following the channel or know about some of them, you probably know which ones I'm talking about and what they do. And again, it's great how they handle them, but how they're not wasting too much time. But ultimately, don't expect this to be a super action-filled piece of entertainment from Marvel. It's honestly the opposite. I would compare this more to Thunderbolts than anything else in regards to what you are getting into. And Marvel seems to have understood that maybe overblowing budgets to do over-the-top CG spectacle monstrosities only works in the big Avengers films that are payoffs. Maybe we should go back to character building. And this is what you got here, which ultimately brings me to the verdict on this film. It is the best Fantastic Four. It is one of the best Marvel Studios films that they've done that you do not expect to go the way that it does. That's what I want to say. I need a repeat viewing to know where it's going to land on my MCU list, but this is unapologetically Fantastic Four at its core. This is what the fans have wanted. We finally have it. And now, the only question I have is, what happens after that ending and the post-credit scene, and where do they go next? Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will, and if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.